everyone, my name is Lady May Ann Assis from BS Ed English 2A. In this video, we will tackle about learning theories. So without further ado, let me have the floor to begin my discussion. How do people learn? Nobody really knows, but there are theories about how people learn, and these are learning theories. What are the learning theories? These are sets of conjectures and hypotheses that explain the process of learning or how the learning takes place. There are many learning theories that guide instruction. Cognitive development theory by Jean Piaget, one of the most famous learning theory. This theory explains that children take an active role in learning process. As learners interact with the world around them, they continually add knowledge, build upon existing knowledge, and adapt previously held ideas to accommodate new information. Three basic approaches in learning theories: behaviorist or behaviorism, cognitivist, cognitivism, and constructivist or constructivism, according to Akdenis et al. 2016. Behaviorism or associative learning theory approach. Behaviorism depicts observable and measurable aspects of human behavior. All behaviors are directed by stimuli, meaning changes in behavior are evident and will result in stimulus-response associations. Behaviorism believes that behaviors can be measured, trained, and changed. Beliefs of behaviorist approach. It operates on principle of stimulus response. Behavior is observable and measurable, and it prefers actual behavior as an indicator of learning. Behaviorism theorists. We have Ivan Pavlov in 1849 to 1936 conducted experiments involving food, a dog, and a bell, known for his work in classical conditioning or stimulus substitution. Edward Thorndike in 1874 to 1949, founder of modern educational psychology, studied human psychology and developed connectionism theory, where learning was the formation of a connection between stimulus and responses. John B. Watson in 1878 to 1958. Also known as the father of behaviorism, behavior is established through stimulus-response associations through conditioning, conducted experiment using a young boy and a rat. Burrhus Frederick Skinner in 1904 to 1990 developed the principles of operant conditioning function, including positive reinforcement or reward, negative reinforcement, non-reinforcement or extension, and punishment. Behaviorist approach. Classical conditioning is about the association between a stimulus and a response. Pavlov 1927. Operant conditioning is when we learn to behave in certain ways due to positive and negative reinforcement. Skinner 1974. Social learning theory. Behavior is shaped by observing and imitating the behavior of others. Bandura 1973. Cognitivism approach. Behavioral psychology is based on factual and procedural rules, rewards, and punishment. It gives way to cognitive psychology, which is based on models for making sense of real-life experiences and how we receive and interpret the information. Lesch and Lamont, 1992. Research suggests that learners from a very young age make sense of the world and actively engage in a process of comprehension or minds-on work. Wilson and Peterson, 2006. Beliefs of cognitivist approach. It focuses on memory as the storage and retrieval of information. Prefers to concentrate on analyzing cognitive processes. It considers schema as essential in learning. Cognitivism theorists. We have Edward Chance Tolman. Tolman's latent learning, place learning. Learning occurs in situations where there is no certain reward because of the presence of cognitive maps. David Ausubel. Ausubel's meaningful verbal learning theory focuses on verbal learning method. Learners learn new information whole to pieces through direct exposure to information rather than discovery. In short, learning is gained through deductive reasoning. Jerome Bruner. Bruner's discovery learning theory or inquiry method or theory of instruction. This theory emphasizes that learning is more meaningful to learners when they have the opportunity to interact among themselves and with their environment through conducting experiments, exploring, and manipulating materials and equipment, wrestling with questions, and finding solutions to their questions. Wolfgang Kohler's insight learning or problem-solving theory. This theory also emphasizes that learners have the capacity to determine and understand the nature of any given phenomenon in a bigger view that involves exploring, analyzing, and structuring perception until a solution is found, where mostly problem is solved through the cognitive trial and error method. George A. Miller's theory of data processing. This theory emphasized that information is the basic means of learning and explains learning in terms of the memory system. It focuses on how information goes into the memory and how it is stored and retrieved as the need arises. Richard Atkinson and Richard Shifrin. Atkinson's and Shifrin's information processing theory. This theory describes how information is processed into memory so that learners get the best out of the stored information. Alan Pavio's dual coding theory. This theory affirms that when two or more modalities are used in teaching learning, it is likely that learners learn better and faster. This theory upholds the principle of individual differences and learning styles and addresses children with special needs. Robert Gagne's cumulative learning. This theory explains that learning skills are arranged hierarchically from stimulus-response associations to concepts, principles, and problem-solving. Concepts of cognitive theory. Schema, the mental structures by which individuals organize their perceived environment and internal knowledge structure. New information is compared to existing cognitive structures called schema. Three-stage information processing model. Input first enters a sensory register, then processed into short-term memory, and then transferred to long-term memory for storage and retrieval. Mnemonic effects. Mnemonics are strategies used by learners to organize relatively meaningless input into more meaningful images or semantic contexts. Constructivism approach. Constructivism advocates that learners build knowledge out of their experiences and ideas. This knowledge is then shared and enhanced through interaction with significant others. Beliefs of constructivism. Society and culture affect learning. Learning involves community engagement, and social interaction is equally important because of the characteristics of learners as social learners. Constructivism theorists. Jean Piaget's cognitive constructivism. This theory stresses that learners take active roles in understanding, creating, and making sense of information and learning styles. Lev Vygotsky's social constructivism. This theory emphasizes that learning is built through social encounters with peers and adults. Albert Bandura's social learning theory. This theory is simply known as the Vuvu or Boo doll experiment. Based on this experiment, it can be concluded that novel patterns of behavior can be acquired through observing the behaviors of others or directly experiencing being with others. Bandura, 1971. In other words, learners learn through simulation and modeling, which means watching or observing someone called a social model and imitating the model's behavior at a later time. In short, learners operate on the power of examples from others. Jean Lev and Etienne Winger. Lev and Winger's situated learning theory. This theory posits that learners learn in particular situations and contexts in which the nature of the situation significantly impacts the process of learning. Other related theories and theorists: behaviorists, cognitivists, or constructivists. We have Howard Gardner's multiple intelligences. This theory postulates that persons have the capacity to possess all intelligences in varying degrees because of the influence of both heredity and environment. Robert Sternberg, Sternberg's triarchic intelligence. This theory believes that learners learn even outside the classroom. The environment is the best classroom for them. Thus, learners are encouraged to explore the outside world to give meaning for their learnings. Wilhelm Wundt, Wundt structuralism. This theory assumes the discovery structure of the mind is built upon the basic elements of ideas and sensations and could only be completed through introspection. Introspection is the self-examination of one's thought, memories, perceptions, and motivations. Zhu and Brown, 2015. William James, James functionalism. This theory examines how the mind functions in the mental processing that leads to adaptive behavior. Kurt Lewin, Lewin's life space and field theory. Life space refers to reality such as need, aspirations, desires, and goals, while field theory refers to the functions of both person and environment. Hence, learning occurs when the learner's existing environment is in harmony with their present reality. Therefore, learning activities must be relevant to their needs, aspirations, and goals. Daniel Goleman, Goleman's emotional intelligence. This theory highlights the role of emotion in the development of an individual's personality, which eventually affects the progress of learning and behavior. David Kolb, Kolb's experiential learning. This theory focuses on constructing knowledge as a result of one's reflected experience, which serves as the main driving force in learning. Baker, Jensen, and Kolb, 2002. And that's all about the learning theories. I hope you learned something and have a nice day. Goodbye, and see you on my next video.